Hello and welcome to another edition of WVAR Briefing. We're glad you could join us. Today in the spotlight is 2018 WVAR State President Lisa Lyons from Parkersburg. She's going to share some thoughts on both her year and the path that got her here. So thanks for joining us. Lisa, thanks for being here with us. Appreciate you taking the time. We're going to just tell the members a little bit about you and your presidency this year. So I'll start with the question. You're about halfway through. I mean, it'll be June here before you know it, 6 months. And what do you think the highlight has been so far? It may not be the only highlight, or what have you done, or what do you, just tell us the things that have been going on.
We had the 100-year gala at the quarterlies in March, and we had an awesome turnout there. We actually had a lot more people than we expected and had to cut off the registration because we had more people wanting to go than what we had anticipated. And
I think actually our attendance at the gala may be higher than the attendance of any convention ever. So our numbers were really big there.
Yeah, and everybody that I've talked to since has just said how much they enjoyed it and how beautiful it was and how they thought that the committee that put that together did a really good job on that.
We had a lot of people working very hard to put that all together, and they all did do a great job.
Yes.
What are some other things, or what do you got planned for the next 6 months?
Well, I plan on visiting the boards again to visit some of their activities that they've done or that they have planned to do in the summer and the fall. And of course, then just after convention, we'll be kicking off the installations of the local boards again.
Which is always a good time. What would you, if you're just sitting here, Joe member out there watching this video, what do you think they want to know? Or what would you like to tell them about the association, about you, about the presidency, association in general, anything?
There's so many opportunities that WVAR has for the members that the members I don't think are aware of, like the education that we provide, the technology hotline that we used to have, the attorney, the legal hotline, which is a big one because I know a lot of members use the legal hotline a lot. And there's some perks that people just don't know about until they get involved.
Well, you know, it's the legal hotline in particular is quite a benefit, because if you think about it, what would it cost you as a real estate agent or as a broker to have an attorney at your disposal 5 days a week, 9 to 5, just a phone call away? If you had to pay for that privilege, it would be significantly more than your annual dues, and it's a huge benefit that people don't realize the expense of that. You know, they just take it for granted, but it's a tremendous benefit, along with a lot of the other things that we offer and do. So this is a question I kind of ask anybody in your position, but it takes a long time to be president.
Right.
You make your decision, you get on the board for a while, and then you do your stint as a committee chair or maybe a couple of chairs of committees, and then you get on the board and you make that announcement that you want to run for president. And then to be president, you have to be vice president and then president-elect and then president, of course. And then once you're president, you have to also commit that you're going to be immediate past president after that. So it's a long-term commitment. So having done all that and been there and seen all that, would you do it again?
Yes, I would do it again in a heartbeat.
Why? What would you?
You meet so many different people throughout the state. You become friends with so many people. You build a bond that when you're just a realtor, you don't have that bond with as many people. Mm-hmm. And you learn so much more being in leadership and going up through the chairs than what you do just sitting on the sidelines.
Well, and you've had two unique things in your year that don't happen that often. Well, first, of course, the 100-year anniversary, which only happens once every 100 years.
Right.
And that put a different play on things. And then the second thing, which happens, hopefully we've changed that now at the national level, but what used to only happen every 8 years is that West Virginia this year also has a regional vice president, which creates a larger presence, I guess, for us on the national level than it does ordinarily. We get involved and have to get involved in more things at the national level than than we traditionally do. Did you have any thoughts or any issues? I mean, it certainly, if you want to take that networking and that a step further, it creates a national network as well as just a state network.
Oh yeah, because you get to the point that you're networking with all these people across the nation, and that gives you more opportunity to give referrals and yet receive referrals from outside of West Virginia for people that are moving in, or family or friends that you have moving out of state.
We have a lot of stigmas in West Virginia with our opioid issues and lots of other kind of national reputations that aren't necessarily true or an accurate reflection of the state. Being involved at the national level now for the time you've been, what do you think the West Virginia Association, their perception is? What do you think that the rest of the states and nationally, how are we perceived at the realtor level?
We're perceived really good at the national level. A lot of states wonder how, as small as we are, and with the stigmatisms that they hear or see on the news and on the internet, how we do the things that we do. And a lot of states actually envy some of the things that we do at our state level.
That's not a bad reputation to have, considering some of the other things that are
Right.
going on in the state. What about another one of the things that you did, which probably ought to be mandatory for incoming presidents, but it's not, is that you went through the Leadership Academy, WVAR's Leadership Academy. Tell us some of your thoughts about that and what you think about those, considering maybe signing up.
The Leadership Academy was a way to grow more and a way to actually step a little bit out of the box and get over some of the phobias or fears that you might have going up the chain, because you meet new people. And I know when we went to DC and when we went to the Capitol here in Charleston, there was so much information that I didn't even know was available to us.
And that's part of the goal, both to get you where you know more about the association. And while you were already kind of working through those chairs, it's our hope. And I think it's, from the tracking we've done, it's been pretty successful. Our hope is to get more people and new people involved, because it's also, at some point, someone like you who's been involved for so long, we hope to stay involved forever, but at some point you want to do other things.
Right.
And the only way we can sustain the organization is if, while we have that flow of people that have been there, the seasoned veterans that know what's going on and have the experience, we also need that new blood to come in and with their new ideas and changes. And so that was part of the reason we created the Leadership Academy, was to help do some of that. And I think it's working. I mean, after we're in our 5th year, our numbers aren't going down. And I think the encouraging thing is that we see people that go out and get you've got to do this. I just did this, you've got to do it next year. So it's got to be fairly effective. We had a great session, as you know, in DC
Right.
2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, whenever it was, with the Leadership Academy. They all thought it was very powerful and educational for them. And that's what we've got to keep doing if the program is going to be a success. Very few of the people in the program, as you know, aren't doing something at the local level or the state level. They're somewhere. They haven't, unless for some reason they've gotten out of real estate, they haven't disappeared, and they are involved in the association. That they may have, we can't say for sure, they may have done it otherwise, but some of them didn't even know anything about the association until they got involved with Leadership Academy. So we think it's working.
Yeah, Barbara and I both were in the same Leadership Academy, and most of the people in our class have actually went on to do more at the local and state level.
In fact, our next, counting Glenna, who is past president this year, with Glenna, and then you, and then Barbara, we've got 3 in a row that are Leadership Academy graduates. So hopefully, and some, like I said, you made that decision to be president before you made the decision,
Right?
The Leadership Academy, but I hope it'll continue to grow and see. So we talked a little bit about your path to president and all the things that you have to do, but let's take it back. How active were you before you got involved with us at the local level?
At the local level, I had actually been involved for almost 10 years before I got involved at the state level.
Now, would you tell folks that that's probably the best way to start the process is get involved at the local level?
Because you learn from the local association what's expected at the state association before you jump in with both feet.
Mm-hmm. And how many conventions have you been to? We talked to Glenna earlier about conventions.
I've been to at least 10, somewhere probably between 10 and 15. I started going to convention in 1998.
Wow. So, given all the things that you've done at the local level, the state level, Leadership Academy, your involvement with national, if someone who just started in the business and came up to you and said, I really want to get involved, I really want to do this, what would your, for lack of a better word, what would your career path advice be to them as how to start and what to do and how to get involved?
I would tell them to get involved with their committees first. Get involved with 1 or 2 local committees, see what their interests are, because every committee does something different. And so I would recommend they get involved with those and then get on their local board and work their way into like the state committees and then the state board of directors.
So that would be your suggestion, start at the local level.
Yeah.
Because that's tough these days. A lot of agents coming into the business aren't as patient,
right,
as some of the more seasons, and they want to start right up to do it. So, but I think the same thing. What we tell them in GRI, we tell everybody as they go through the classes that local involvement and state involvement is not only important to their business, but it's important to the survival of the organizations. Because if we don't have people getting involved at the state level, if we don't have people getting involved at the local level, then the organizations suffer because of it. Because then you always have those folks, all right, I'll step up to the plate and I'll do it again and do it again. And it's not that we don't appreciate that person that's been president 6 times in a row, but at the same token, if we don't have that influx and that change, then it's not maybe the best that the board could be without that new blood coming in and the old blood together. And we've lost, I think, and I ask your comments for this, it's a long question, but one of the things that we think, and everybody knows I love technology more than anybody. I'm a millennial trapped in a baby boomer's body. But at the end of the day, technology has cost us a lot of the social aspects of what makes this business the way it is, because it's the only business I know of where we compete with the people that we have to cooperate with. I mean, rarely do you see a billboard where Coke and Pepsi are saying, hey, we don't care which one of these you drink, just drink one of them. Right. Or Chevy and Ford say, we don't care what you drive, just please drive one of these products. They don't. They just compete. They don't cooperate. But we have to. And when you don't do the social aspects, when you don't get involved in the board, when you don't attend the functions that they offer, when you don't serve on committees, you lose an important piece of what keeps the board functional and together and operative. And that's that socialness of, so that when someone makes you mad and you're not sure what's going on, you don't go storm into your broker and then they call the other broker and everybody gets mad. Because if you know that person because you were on a committee with them, you pick up the phone and you call them. Right. And you say what's going on. And that's the part that we've got to get people to realize is so important to success in the business, because they have to be able to talk and cooperate with each other.
Right. And I think that the boards grow more when we have that mixture of new and old people.
Absolutely. Final thoughts for the listening world?
I think that everybody should get more involved at the local and the state level and reach out to us to see what there is available that they don't know about, because there's a lot of things that we offer people that people just don't realize is there.
Great. Thanks, Lisa.
You're welcome.
I hope you've enjoyed this edition of WVAR Briefing with Lisa Lyons. Please consider getting involved at your local level, at the state level, and we are currently taking applications for the 2019 Leadership Academy. So if you're interested in that, please give us a call, go online, get more information. Until next time, thanks for listening.